Lionel Richie, Nicole Scherzinger and Katy Perry have hit it out of the park in their performances at the King's Coronation concert.
There, of course, we see the arrival of their Majesties, the King and Queen.
As my grandmother said when she was crowned, coronations are a declaration of our hopes for the future. And I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother. I commit myself to serve you all, King, country, and Commonwealth. God save the King.
Wow, it had it all, didn't it? Even Kermit the Frog. Let's bring in the royal editor of the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers, who's there. Rusty, what a concert!
No doubt. I mean, you just showed an incredible highlights reel, and I think this is what everybody was waiting for, because there was a bit of damp weather yesterday. It didn't dampen too many spirits, but this was a fantastic, incredible event. You know, we just saw Katy Perry. I mean, I can die happy, because seeing Katy Perry singing Firework was a real highlight for me. But, you know, Nicole Scherzinger, we had Kermit the Frog, a Winnie the Pooh tribute. It had it all. I mean, Lionel Richie as well. Fantastic.
It really did have it all. We didn't see Winnie the Pooh. We'll have to check in on that later. I mean, we saw the royals up and about, dancing on their feet, including the King and Queen.
I know, God, who would have thought they had some moves? I definitely saw, you know, the Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie, shaking some moves, but certainly the King and Queen flag waving, the younger royals as well, who have absolutely stolen the show this weekend. I mean, they are definitely stars for the future, and one may hope that this is definitely a new era for the royal family. We've had a couple of years of sort of scandal and infighting, haven't we? But this was a time for celebration, and I definitely think a new leaf for the monarchy.
Yeah, we were just saying how comfortable those young royals looked, and for us it was Louis, of course, who stole the show, as always. He's a legend, isn't he?
Listen, we've just had some fantastic moments with the children this week. I think that Louis yesterday was absolutely impeccably behaved. We forget he's only 5 years old. Prince George having a big role yesterday, and Princess Charlotte. I mean, she is definitely a star for the future.
Absolutely, Russell. Thanks so much for joining us there on your phone. Love it. Take care, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, and you can watch the King's Coronation concert on 9 and 9 Now from midday today. You don't want to miss it.
A big night, and we're now joined by ITV News royal editor Chris Shipp in Windsor. Chris, good morning to you. Good evening, London time, Windsor time. It wasn't quite the British lineup organisers were aiming for, but it looked pretty good.
Yeah, good evening from here. It was, you know, it was a real privilege to be in there with the 20,000 other people at that concert this evening, seeing that east lawn of Windsor Castle looking like I've never seen it before, quite frankly, and that facade at the east of the castle, where they've got these semi-state rooms lit up amazingly. It was quite an experience to be in there, not only to hear everyone sing, Take That, Katy Perry. Interesting that Katy Perry was singing about the 4th of July in front of a British king, but we'll leave that one there. But having the royal family dancing next to Prince George and Princess Charlotte, yeah, it was quite an experience.
And what about Prince William getting up there with the odd dad joke? But beyond that, it was pretty heartfelt, his dedication to his dad.
Yeah, of course, there's always a dad joke in one of these things from Prince William. But actually, I thought, you know, the two parts of his speech to pick out was one, referencing his grandmother, saying that she's up there somewhere looking down on us. And let's remember, it was less than a year ago that we had the Platinum Jubilee concert when Buckingham Palace was lit up in a not dissimilar way to Windsor Castle. And we were talking about the long reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Here we are less than a year later, celebrating a coronation of her son. And Prince William also mentioned his father, the longevity of his father's campaign on things like the planet, for example, which I think you'll find as King Charles III's reign gets underway now, that's a lot of where his focus is going to be.
Downton Abbey actor Hugh Bonneville was the host with the most. He had a terrific line, I thought. I laughed heartily when he said about the King, he himself is a painter, an artist, the artist formerly known as Prince. Come on,
Dad
big
jokes
fella.
are plenty.
I mean, yeah. That day was a particular highlight. I wish I was just sitting a bit closer to the king to see how he responded to that one.
It was great, though. It was a really great concert to finish off all the pomp and ceremony over the weekend. How's it gone down?
Well, do you know what? I think yesterday was very much about ceremony, and it was about crowns and carriages and, you know, military processions. Today's much more about a party, and you couldn't get much more of a contrast between the 2 days, not least the weather. And I know us Brits talk about the weather all the time, but yesterday it was raining all day long. Today here in Windsor has been sunny. There was a party, as I said, 20,000 people in there, but also at the other end of the long walk here with plenty of members of the public who didn't have tickets, who were watching on big screens and having a party as well. So it felt like quite a nice conclusion, if you like, to the proceedings and a real contrast to what we saw in London yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Looked like some kind of event.
Very good, mate. I just wish we had a camera on Louis the whole night. I mean, I just feel like we missed his energy.
Yeah, I know, he just wasn't there.
Louis wasn't
Past
there,
his
actually.
bedtime.
He was kept in bed.
Yeah, exactly. Still, it would be interesting to watch. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. And you can watch the King's Coronation concert on 9 and 9 now from midday today.
That's right. You'll be watching, won't you, Carl?
I will.
How good is that? That is the concert celebrating the coronation of King Charles III, right now underway in the UK. The royal family joining thousands at Windsor Castle for the festivities. And joining us to discuss the coronation as well as the other headlines making news is Minister for Government Services and the NDIS, Bill Shorten in Canberra, and 3AW's Neil Mitchell in Melbourne. Good morning, gents. Thanks for joining us today. Now, Bill, it's been a huge weekend in the UK, a slightly shorter affair than the last coronation, but no shortage of pomp and pageantry on display.
Oh, hats off to the Brits. They know how to do big events well, and the coronation hasn't been one for a very long time, so it looked like it was a great party.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all you got to say about it?
Oh, well, it's very nice. No,
Come on, Bill. Come on.
well, I did. I'm a full confession here. I did get asked Saturday night. I was at an event. I was picking up my 13-year-old daughter from a 14-year-old party, and so that was the coronation I went to. It was Sophia's 14th party.
Oh, you know, I did pop into a pub in Melbourne, and they weren't playing the coronation; they were playing the footy. So I didn't think that was very cool. So, you know, I got a bit of it on my phone. But anyway, Neil, what did you make of it all? Katy Perry, we just heard from, Lionel Richie was also there.
Oh, yeah, they know how to throw a party, and it had a sense of history about it. And look, I don't want to do a Stan Grant, but I watched a bit of it. But I think it was terrific. But it just reinforced to me how far removed it's from Australia.
Yeah.
You know, we don't camp out for royals, we camp out for footy tickets.
Yeah.
We don't do that sort of thing. And good on them for doing it. It's terrific for the country and royalty. That's all great. But it just felt so removed from this country.
Yeah. I have to say, it didn't feel like they were dealing with the head of state of Australia. I thought it looked like they were dealing with the head of state of the United Kingdom. Great party, but I'm not sure it really was a... Anyway, we get on with our lives, don't we? We've got things to deal with here.
Yeah, I mean, it was very old-fashioned. I thought it was pretty spectacular, though, given it was a little bit shorter as well, so a bit more of an appetite for it. Yeah.
Well, life is a highway, as they say in
Sometimes
the
it can be.
classics. Terrific weekend, folks. Hope you had a good one. As we go to where it continues, the newly crowned King Charles III and the royal family have joined thousands at Windsor for the coronation concert. It's the star-studded finale to an historic weekend of royal events, with Katy Perry and Lionel Richie to perform.
It's been a busy day already for the royals. Kate and William joining street parties in Windsor.
Oh.
Let's go live to Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey, who joins us now from Windsor. Edward, good morning. The concert is just kicking off.
Yeah, good morning, guys. We've had the pomp and the pageantry. Now is the time to party, and the coronation concert has just begun inside the walls of Windsor Castle, just behind us here, about 45 minutes or so from London. Some vision has popped up where you can see the enormous setup inside, just that huge stage lit up in red, white and blue, and 20,000 people packed in on the lawn around that stage. And I'm told that the King has just arrived a few moments ago and has received 3 cheers. We know it's going to be a star-studded affair. It's being hosted by Hugh Bonneville. There are going to be performances, as you said, from Lionel Richie and Katy Perry, who are at the coronation service, and they've known the King for quite some time. We're also expecting some recorded messages of some kind from Tom Cruise and Tom Jones, perhaps revealing some unknown details about King Charles. Windsor has been pumping all day. We've got 20,000 people here in attendance, and many of them arrived very early, and those who did were rewarded because the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Kate, stopped along the long walk just near us where we are at the moment and did a bit of a walkabout earlier this afternoon and spent quite a long time going along and shaking people's hands and taking selfies. William and Kate accepting drinks from members of the crowd there as well. And there was a really touching moment where there was a little girl wearing Union Jacks and she was crying. She was a little bit overcome with it all, a little bit overwhelmed, and Kate spent some time consoling her and gave her a big hug. So something that she will never forget. Around half the people here received their ticket through a ballot. They're inside now enjoying themselves, and I'm just told that Kate and William are there and George and Charlotte, but guys, there's no Louis apparently. We know he likes to steal the show, so perhaps he's been left home for that reason.
Come on, we need Louis.
He's a naughty
He's
boy.
the best one.
I'm transfixed by him.
Yeah,
you can watch the King's Coronation concert on 9 and 9 now from midday today, as well as some highlights through the morning.